Young and the Restless spoilers. Victor's worst fear, a family torn apart by betrayal and love. Victor Newman, a man renowned for his control and foresight, had always seen himself as the protector of his family. Yet even his sharp instincts couldn't shield the Newmans from the storm brewing within their ranks. Despite his warnings and efforts to keep his granddaughters, Claire and Summer, safe, the unthinkable had happened. Kyle Abbott, the man Victor had long distrusted, had become the epicenter of a scandal that threatened to fracture the Newman family irrevocably. Kyle's double life. Kyle Abbott had always been charming, a trait that worked both to his advantage and detriment. His relationship with Claire, Victor's ambitious and fiercely independent granddaughter, had been publicly celebrated, a union that seemed to bridge the Newman and Abbott dynasties. But beneath the surface, Kyle's heart belonged to Summer, his childhood sweetheart and Claire's cousin. The truth was complicated. Kyle had pursued Claire to appease family expectations and to avoid the inevitable complications that rekindling his romance with Summer would bring. Yet, no matter how hard he tried to suppress his feelings, Summer remained the woman he couldn't let go of. In moments stolen away from the prying eyes of their families, Kyle and Summer found solace in each other's arms. It was a love affair born of passion and history, but shadowed by betrayal. Kyle's guilt over his deception consumed him, yet his heart refused to let him end things with Summer or Claire. The unthinkable happens. The situation reached its breaking point when both Claire and Summer discovered they were pregnant. Kyle was the father of both children. The revelation sent shockwaves through the Newman and Abbott families, leaving Kyle in an impossible position. Kyle found himself grappling with a nightmare of his own making. How could he possibly explain his actions to either woman? How could he be a father to both children without tearing their families apart? And how could he ever hope to rebuild the trust he had shattered? Victor's fury. Victor had seen the signs long before anyone else. His intuition about Kyle had been correct, and now his worst fear had become a reality. For Victor, this wasn't just about betrayal, it was about the safety and happiness of his granddaughters, both of whom he loved deeply. "You fool," Victor roared during a heated confrontation with Kyle at the Newman estate. "I warned you to stay away from my granddaughters, but you couldn't control yourself. Now look at the mess you've created." Kyle, pale and visibly shaken, could only stammer, "Mr. Newman, I didn't mean for this to happen. I never wanted to hurt Claire or Summer." Victor's voice grew colder. "Intentions mean nothing when your actions speak louder. You've not only hurt them, you've destroyed the trust this family had in you. And for what? Your selfish desires?" Claire and Summer's pain. The news devastated Claire and Summer in equal measure, though their reactions were markedly different. Claire, ever the pragmatist, was furious but resolved to handle the situation on her terms. "You used me," she told Kyle during a tense encounter. "You didn't love me. You were just too cowardly to admit it." Kyle's attempts to explain only deepened Claire's anger. "I never meant to hurt you, Claire. I cared about you." "But you loved her," Claire interjected, her voice trembling. "And now I'm pregnant with your child, while you were sneaking around with Summer the entire time." Summer, on the other hand, was heartbroken but still hopelessly in love with Kyle. "I didn't want it to be this way," she confessed to Claire during an emotionally charged conversation. "But I couldn't help how I felt about him." Claire's response was icy. "You couldn't help it? You're my cousin, Summer, my family. How could you do this to me?" Victor's unorthodox love. Victor's way of expressing love had always been through control and protection, and this situation was no exception. His granddaughter's pain only fueled his determination to remove Kyle from their lives entirely. But his efforts to intervene only deepened the rift. Claire and Summer, both fiercely independent in their own ways, grew increasingly frustrated with Victor's heavy-handedness. "Grandpa, you can't control everything," Claire snapped during one of their many arguments. "You think you're protecting us, but all you're doing is making things worse." Summer echoed her cousin's sentiments. "We're not children, Grandpa. We made our own choices, good or bad. This is our mess to clean up, not yours." Victor, though stung by their words, refused to back down. "You're my family," he said firmly, "and I will do whatever it takes to ensure you're both safe, even if it means making decisions you don't like." Kyle's dilemma. For Kyle, the weight of his mistakes was unbearable. He couldn't be a father to both children without choosing one woman over the other. But how could he choose between the mother of his child and the woman he truly loved? Jack Abbott, Kyle's father, offered his son advice during a rare moment of vulnerability. "Kyle, you've made a mess of things, but now you have to face the consequences like a man. You can't run from this, you need to make a decision and take responsibility." But making that decision felt impossible. If Kyle chose Claire, he would lose Summer, the love of his life. If he chose Summer, he would confirm every accusation Claire had thrown at him and risk alienating her and their child forever. A family divided. As the weeks went on, the Newman and Abbott families found themselves in a state of turmoil. Alliances shifted, old wounds resurfaced, and the once united clans began to fracture under the weight of the scandal. Victor, for all his power and influence, couldn't mend the damage. His warnings had gone unheeded, and now his family was paying the price. "I tried to stop this," he confided to Nikki one evening, "but no one listened. Now all I can do is try to pick up the pieces." Nikki placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "Victor, you can't control everything. Sometimes, all you can do is be there for them when they need you." The path forward. The resolution to this tangled web of love, betrayal, and family loyalty remained unclear. Claire and Summer's pregnancies would forever tie them to Kyle, whether they liked it or not. Kyle's decision, whatever it might be, would have far-reaching consequences for both families. For Victor, the situation was a painful reminder that even his immense power couldn't protect his loved ones from heartbreak. But it was also a chance for him to show that his love for his family wasn't just about control. It was about being there when they needed him most.